Let's play. What's up, guys? Buckmars here with episode 29 of a Minecraft Let's Play series. It's the middle of the week. It's Wednesday. It's October. Finally, it's October 1st. Can't believe I'm turning 19 tomorrow. That's a crazy thing. Yeah, birthday's October 2nd. Good lord, I'll be 19 years on this freaking earth. What have I done with my life? Where does the time go? Oh, it goes to nothing. Okay, there's actually a swear word that I would put for nothing. But this is a video. Um, sorry, I just looked over my phone. Cat was texting me again. Um, this is the thing. I don't know where I was going with that. This is a video that is like swearing free. I try not to swear in it, so that's good. What in the world is all this? Okay, there we go. Oh, before I forget, apparently in the last video I was ranting about a particular person too much. I don't remember doing that. I apologize anyway. Anyone I mention in this video, just sort of like just something to talk about, you know? I thought I talked more about the things than just that particular person. Apparently I didn't. So whatever, you know. Life goes on. However the rest of the song goes, I don't know. Life goes on. Okay. You can Google that song. You'll totally find it based on my singing. Anyway, we're still exploring. This episode, we're actually going to get out of here because I want to do like a little special, like 30 episode slash birthday celebration. So we're going to go. I don't know where we're going to go. First of all, I'm going to go back because I think there was one place in particular that I made something. Yeah, I made this stuff. I didn't want to waste resources and make more of it. I made another axe, essentially. Also another pickaxe, because that'd also be very useful for me to have right now. I'm trying to think of what I did Monday. What the heck did I do Monday? See, I would remember, but then I don't remember, because, you know, that makes sense. Tuesday, I found a bit of funny information. Apparently, people talk way too much about me. So there's just been rumors flying around that I like certain people. It's like, it's what I deal with every year. People take a huge interest in my life, or it's just they want to be up on the latest gossip, specifically band gossip. There's just been a whole bunch of stuff like that recently. Of course, I mentioned that to somebody a few days ago as well, and of course they get mad at me for it. They're like, you don't know the whole story, yada yada yada, and it's just like, I'm not saying I do. I'm just making conversation. I don't know. Let's see. On this coal thing here. I'm really annoyed at these new little mineral things because they take up space. You know, I'm never going to use them. I'm assuming crafting recipes will come up for them eventually, though, so that makes it okay. Oh, something I did want to talk about. One of my teachers took a special interest in what I do on the interwebs recently. We've been talking a lot about it. Probably one of the best teachers I've had in my entire 12 or 13 years of being in school. I mentioned him um, earlier in the series, I think. I didn't really flush him out, but which means basically describe him in detail, which I never will unless I get his specific permission to do so, because it's a very confidential thing. A lot of people don't want to put themselves out there. I think I've explained this before. But yeah, he's an awesome teacher. He teaches forensics, so you know that fun little subject. Not a lot of the kids take the class seriously, but of course I like it because me and him can sort of talk. I've noticed that me and him could just sit there and talk forever because we just do. We both like to learn. We both like to talk about different things. And of course, we also know similar people. I mean, a lot of the people that we talk about, we both know personally, whether through clubs or different classes. Usually with him, it's through clubs that these people take part in. So that's always fun, you know, being able to connect with a teacher on that level, especially a teacher with, I guess, as much real world expertise as him. He tries to drill that in on us a lot and says, hey, you know, you got to develop skills. You got to be able to be productive with your life in the real world because, you know, life gets pretty difficult when you're in reality. Yeah, it really does. I think this is where I came down, actually. You know what it might be? So, yeah. let's follow this. I forget where this goes. I think this is this what I originally used? Of course, people in the last videos are like, yes, you idiots. But that was like a week ago, so, you know. Yeah, it looks like it is. Okay. I think I see iron over there. I'm going to go back through and I'm going to grab all the minerals real quick here. Oh, I guess I dropped down there at some point. I don't know. Trying to like retrace my steps a little bit. Oh, there's more parts of the mine shaft over there. But yeah, no, this school year has been absolutely crazy. In fact, as I film this video, I've got text messages coming in from like 10 other people because I literally went down my phone and was just like, let's text everyone. And so that got, 8 responses in about 2 minutes. That's great. It's great to have that many people that I can just sort of talk to. That's a terrible snap. Just like that. It's a bit better. Of course, there are also other people that I don't talk to as much. The sort of across the country friends that I have, and I don't talk to them as much as I should, mainly because of marching band and other things, which I do not have today. We don't have it on Wednesdays. This is sort of like the last week of just sort of like chilling out until the hectic stuff starts, until we have a competition every weekend, until there's a game every weekend, until, sectionals on Mondays, but that's sort of the small part. Sectionals is basically a focused time with the other people that play the same instrument as you in your section. That's sort of how that works. You can focus on difficult rhythms, difficult parts of each song. For us, it's usually BSing around because we don't get much done. I have a feeling that other sections have more trouble than us, though, because there are bigger sections. There's actually, I think the trumpets is the biggest section with 20 people. That's a lot of people. I think there's only 2 or 3 like leaders, quote unquote, in that section. Section leader from a few years ago, from my freshman year, could, easily handle it. Wait, not my freshman year. To be safe, my sophomore year, but my freshman and or sophomore year. We knew him as Batman. I'm just gonna say Batman because I don't know if I can use his real name or not. That's what I want to address that. I really try to avoid using people's real names because that's something that is their information and it's very specific to them, and so people can use someone else's real name to get to them. Okay. There are people in this world. I was about, you know what? That's funny. I was about to check and see if I was on normal or something. Apparently, I am because that just exploded. But yeah, no, there are people in this world who believe that, oh, no one can get me if I don't reveal my name or anything like that. But there are people who know how to get you. All they need is your name. Literally your first name. And they've got where you live, they've got all your personal information. So that's why I usually choose to refer to them as, other things. Things that make it obvious I'm talking about them, but not obvious to everybody else that I'm talking about that specific person. And I just do that because it's a way to not be an asshole, essentially. Sorry for the person who doesn't like swearing. But it's not swearing if you're talking about a donkey, as John Green likes to say. Speaking of John Green, Paper Towns. I think I might have mentioned this already, but Paper Towns is coming into theaters. It's being made to a movie coming into theaters. I have no idea when, but I'm just really excited for that. I saw The Fault in Our Stars something about it a few days ago. Someone's petitioning to have it banned. I don't know what that's about. I didn't really see an issue with the storyline of it. I actually really enjoyed the movie. I went to see it with a person. And it was fun. I was definitely glad that I saw it. I just wish that I'd read the book first. But I'm glad that a book that I did read, Paper Towns, being made into a movie because I definitely want to see how that's sort of interpreted by Hollywood. Of course, with the direction of John Green himself. I had a momentary brain fart there. Because that's sort of how his last movie went. Is sort of they filmed all of Fault in Our Stars, but with his immediate direction. He was sitting right there on the director's panel. And he was making sure that everything in the movie was interpreted the way that he wanted it interpreted. So I think that's sort of how authors should do it from now on. Is be like, oh, personal influence. But he also gave them room. He also said, okay, he worked with them, not against them, essentially. And I think that's sort of what made the movie good as well. Someone did say they got one thing terribly wrong. There was no father in the original book. It was just the mother and the daughter, and that's that sort of relationship, the closeness that they had, was easily missed in the movie. Not really the closeness, but like the special relationship that the two had because there was no father. That was easily missed in the movie. That because I'm a fan, I would say that it should be kept in. But I guess they didn't keep it in to just sort of make it a little bit more not family appropriate because it is about cancer, but just sort of more together. Like I guess the original character being without a dad was just a bit too far for what they were trying to accomplish. Because it's not the main story. It's not really what the whole thing's about. So I guess that's why they cut it. They didn't exactly need it. Now, did he want to cut it? Did John want to cut it specifically? I don't know. I would have to specifically ask him about that. And there's no way someone like me is going to get to talk to him anytime soon. Simply because he's just that like famous at this point. Starting back in 2009 on YouTube, I definitely support pretty much anything he does. I'm really glad to see YouTubers like him sort of get out into the real world. I've talked about this many times. Shay Carl, I'm just gonna mention a whole list. What the Buck Show. People forget about him a lot. Kasim G. He's done stuff with the Big Rap Battles of History. You've got Shay Carl. I don't know what the heck he does now. iJustine. She is everywhere, and it's awesome. Who else? There's some big players. Well, Ray William Johnson obviously is sort of doing his own acting career thing. He gave up Eagles 3 to a new host, but he's still sort of like directing it. So he still gets input and what's not. I don't think he'll ever like fully relinquish it, which is fine because it's his thing. It's what he created all of those years ago. And sometimes I wonder sort of where my social life would be if I didn't have someone like him that I was watching all the time. Because I realize he's part of the reason I'm so laid back now. Like, he's part of the reason why I am the way I am now. He never fully lost control. He was a very social person. He was a very out there sort of person. And I guess I live exactly as he does, to a certain extent. I'm definitely not as hardworking. I will be very honest about that. He really dedicated himself where he had to. I remember one specific story he was telling. Because it is a comedy show. It's about him reviewing viral videos. So on the days he wasn't filming, when he was sitting in school or sitting on the subway or whatever, he would be replaying the video over and over again in his mind, trying to in whatever he thought of a funny observation or a joke. He had a notebook with him, and he would write it down in the notebook. So by the end of the 2 or 3 days, he had a whole array of content to write from and to sort of choose sort of the best that his mind came up with about 2 or 3 days. I haven't exactly tried out this. I'm thinking I should just to see what would happen. But what I do doesn't really suit that. Now I could do news stories, I could do current events, I could do people, I could do things, I could do places, I could do whatever. Um, but I do sort of like the sort of random organization of topics. I think I've always sort of liked that part of this. I guess job. I guess I can call this a job. People are gonna roll their eyes at me, but it is. I mean, I'm not getting paid, but does that really matter? Like, does that being paid define a job? What I define a job is as something that you do that people pay attention to and enjoy, and you could have some sort of benefit from. That's a very loose definition, obviously, but there's also many jokes about the word job that it stands for just over broke, for example, which I also heavily believe because if you're just over broke, you're working, but if if you're fine, if you're financially independent, you don't have to work. That's just sort of the thing. I was reading a bit of more Rich Dad Poor Dad because we have this thing at school called Dear Day, which we just sit 30 minutes and read. I was just sort of reinvigorating myself all over again over the lessons I had learned as a little kid. Reading that book when I was 12 and now going back to it, I'm almost 19. It's interesting. It's definitely an interesting difference um, to have, and it's sort of nice to go back and say, hey, look at this thing that I enjoyed that many years ago. Has the message changed? Like have the times changed enough to where this is obsolete? Book was written in 1996, something insane like that. The ideas still apply, but only to a certain extent. Like they don't really anymore. Where are we? Holy crap! All right, we're just everywhere right now. Like I'm trying to make my way back to where I can recognize the place, but it just ain't working. There's just so much more to explore. But this is the PC Minecraft as comparison to the Xbox One. If you're just playing the Xbox One, you're missing out. As you can see, there's a bunch of craziness going on here. And we're already 16 minutes in. Like we've already sort of gotten a bit ridiculous. Sometimes when I film these videos, I worry about what I'm going to talk about, and then I just start filming, and the material just sort of makes itself as it goes along, which is what I like. Again, I like that spontaneity. I like not planning it. Of course, some people like planned episodes, and I'll definitely look into doing that if the audience wants that. Because as I said right at the beginning, you guys make this channel. You know? I mean, at the end of the day, if I'm not making you guys laugh and I'm offending you or I'm just pissing you off, you're going to stop watching. And when you stop watching, I lose subscribers. And when I lose subscribers, just a whole situation happens. And, along those same lines, people will often take advantage of that. They'll say, oh, you should do this very specific thing, otherwise I'll unsubscribe. And I'm just like, I don't know. Sometimes it's something I'm morally not okay with doing. One thing that I usually try to avoid doing is game reviews, although I have looked into doing it. Just simply for the same reason Rooster Teeth doesn't do it, where it's like people work on these games and we don't want to make enemies, that kind of thing. I'm definitely too small to make enemies right now. But, yeah, but to the people who do review games, thank you, IGN especially. You definitely helped me make some good purchases, like Just Cause 2, for example. That was an amazing game. I've only met, like, one other person that plays that game. What do we call him? I'm trying to think of what, like, his nickname would be. I don't know. He's just a really funny guy. And he doesn't annoy me at all. He doesn't really annoy a lot of people. Most of the people in band really enjoy being around him, and that's always good. I'm gonna dig up to the surface right from here, actually. Yeah, because this is sort of a good kind of sort of checkpoint, unless this leads to the surface right over here. Because if it does, it's gonna feel like a waste of time. I might actually go in later and build like an actual like staircase. Who the heck knows? Da 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 da. All right. Actually, speaking of weird tunes, we started watching the King's Speech in English today to learn more about how to write speeches and whatnot. And I realized I did all this last year. I know what I'm doing. So I took speech and debate, which people are like, "Oh, why are you taking that class?" Now I'm glad I took it because I know exactly how to write a speech. I've already delivered a 10-minute speech. It's not incredibly difficult. I also found a speech by John Green, obviously, that I really enjoyed watching. I'll probably link it in the description. I forgot to tell my English teacher about it, but it's just another really good example of someone, that I admire, yada yada yada, who made a speech, yada yada yada. You guys don't want to hear this. You guys have heard this 1,000 times already. So yeah. Uh, any idea where we are? Yeah, I forgot I was so far away from home. Honestly, I'd forgotten that I had traveled that far. It explains why the caves are so crazy. Because I didn't find anything like that near my house. But just look at the map, though. That's all we've explored. We already found that just insaneness. Think about that. This world has so much to offer. I just gotta find it. But once I do find it, It's going to be awesome. You guys are going to go along that journey with me. It's going to be fun. We could hit like episode 300 on this thing. That's really exciting. Like, it's exciting for me to think about the future. It's exciting for me to say, hey, this could be episode, like, reaching episode 100, episode 200, episode 300. Who knows? Who knows how long it's like? We might even hit 1,000. I know, I love that I'm at episode 29. I'm already talking that big. But hey, why not? Why not? You gotta remember, every 100 or so episodes, that's a year. So if I hit episode 1,000, that means I've been filming this for like 10 years. If I'm still here after 10 years, that'd be amazing, first of all. 10 years is a long time. That's what the Rooster Teeth employees were talking about in their 10-year celebration sort of retrospective video. Is right on their 10-year anniversary, they sort of all got together and were like, huh, 10 freaking years of doing Red versus Blue and all the other stuff the Rooster Teeth does. And Bernie, the main guy, was talking about how sort of he just finds this really interesting. His mom died about 6 months before he started Rooster Teeth, before he started Red vs. Blue. So it's very interesting to him that his mom raised him, did all of that, and left, basically, well, left, literally, died, just before he was able to take off and do his own thing. This is really slow right now. I apologize for that. But yeah, it was really interesting to him to sort of think about that, because I really got to burn this down. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to take a flint and tinder and I'm going to burn this forest to the ground. It's incredibly annoying right now. That's why the computer's so slow right now, is because of this. It's trying to render all of this at the same time. We are going to pull this down. We're going like 3, 2. Okay? Still going to be slow. See? It's actually slower. Nope, nope, never mind. We're good. Okay. Nope, now it pauses again. See, this is why I quit the last time, then I switched to the console, was because it was so slow. So I apologize for that. This is like a 4 or 5-year-old computer. I love it. I love that I've kept the computer alive this long. But Minecraft has definitely ripped a dent into the computer. But as I was saying, it's crazy to think about 10 years and how much changes in that amount of time. You go 10 years ago for me, that was 8, almost 9. I had just gotten back from Europe. I would have gotten back from Europe 2 or 3 months ago. So that's where I went. For my 8, I was 8 years old. And went to Ireland and England for a few months to see all my relatives over there. Just thinking about myself back then and then comparing that to now is just, the comparison is absolutely unimaginable. I mean, you take yourself 10 years ago compared to now. I think you just blew your own mind, because people change so much in 10 years. Some people do, some people don't. Some people are still the same. But hey, whatever. I'm not going to judge or anything like that. We're slowly making our way home here. This is definitely an adventure and a half trying to do this. There's so many freaking trees. Good lord. Like, I know that I cleared around trees around my house and whatnot, but this is ridiculous. But yeah, if I am still making videos in 10 years, which I hope I am, I hope I make, I'd like to sort of, this is going to sound really weird, I see sort of my life being on the internet, being involved in technology, and sort of the evolution of technology. I mean, I've met people who say they want to be you know, microbiologists. I've seen people who want to be physicists. I mean, I've met all sorts of different people. I have one good friend who wants to be work with genetics. It's like whatever you want to do. But I just sort of find my passion entertaining people, and not face to face necessarily. Face to face also takes time. If I can entertain you this way, that means I can entertain more people in the less amount of time. I can serve more people in the same amount of time. And that's a really good thing to be able to do. That's just sort of how I see it. And you know, people take advantage of that all day long. It's tough. It's tough to deal with people like that. But we are finally home. It took me about 6 or 7 minutes to get all the way back here. I will definitely take care of that tree issue one day. Because, wow, that was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, there's also the fact this computer has been on for a few days already. Actually, yeah, it's been on for like 2 or 3 days already. So that could also be another issue. But thank you guys for watching episode 29 of my Minecraft Let's Play series. There'll probably be a special episode either tomorrow or Friday or this weekend. There'll definitely be some extra content coming out in the next few days to celebrate my birthday. Turn 19. Good lord. So much to do in so little time, huh? Well, on that note, as the moon rises, I'll see you guys in the next video. Let's stop.